Have you ever felt brilliant, truly capable, but just constantly dismissed? Your ideas kind of ignored, maybe your ambitions undermined, just because you didn't quite fit the expected mold, that feeling, that sort of quiet, maybe even burning defiance. Well, that's really the spark for today's deep dive. Today we are getting into Bonnie Garmus's incredibly popular debut novel, Lessons in Chemistry.
It's a fantastic book.
It really is. We've basically taken a comprehensive analysis, a really detailed review, and pulled out the most important insights, the surprising facts.
Yeah, we're trying to show you how this novel, blends science, satire, feminism, and just a whole lot of heart.
Exactly. And why it really resonated so deeply with readers, kind of a shortcut to its core essence and impact.
It's definitely a standout, delivers such a powerful message, but
Yeah.
keeps you completely hooked the whole time.
Yeah.
And we've looked into how Garmus pulls off that unique blend and what makes Elizabeth Zott, the protagonist, just so unforgettable. Really excited to share what we found.
Okay, so to get us started, let's maybe nail down some basics about Lessons in Chemistry.
Good idea.
It came out April 2022, published by Doubleday. It's around, 400 pages? A solid read.
Yeah, about that. And the rating is consistently high, like 4.5 out of 5 stars, pretty much everywhere you look.
Which says a lot. And you mentioned the setting. It's not contemporary, right?
No, definitely not. Its roots are firmly in historical fiction. We're talking early 1960s, primarily.
And that setting is, well, it's crucial, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It immediately paints this vivid picture of the massive challenges that protagonist Elizabeth Zott is up against, the whole societal backdrop.
Right. So let's talk about Elizabeth Zott. Who is she when we first meet her? What makes her so compelling right off the bat?
Well, Elizabeth Zott is fascinating because she's this brilliant chemist who, from the very beginning, just utterly defies every single societal norm, every gender role of that.
She's not just smart. She's
a force of nature, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost an anomaly for the early 60s. You just didn't see women like her in those roles or acting that way.
And her initial workplace really drives that home, doesn't it? That male-dominated science field.
Totally. She's trying to make her mark, do her work in this environment where her intelligence is just constantly underestimated. Her ambitions are, systematically undermined.
It's that stark picture of women being denied credit or just dismissed entirely.
It really is. But the story doesn't just stay there in that frustrating lab environment.
No, that's where it gets interesting after, the pretty brutal setbacks, both personal and professional.
Yeah, she ends up somewhere completely unexpected, hosting a cooking show. A wildly popular one called Supper at 6.
Which sounds like such a pivot, almost a step down initially, maybe.
You'd think so. But this is where the book pulls its most surprising and frankly brilliant twist.
Supper at 6 isn't just about recipes.
Not at all. Elizabeth transforms it, becomes this subversive platform. She's teaching housewives the science behind the cooking, sure, but more importantly, she's teaching them about their own worth.
She takes this very domestic space, the kitchen, and turns it into a classroom for empowerment. It's amazing.
It really is. It's that classic idea the review highlighted. What starts as a compromise becomes a revolution. It starts as maybe a necessity for her, but it grows into this quiet movement. She's empowering women, challenging how people think about food, yes, but also science and themselves. That little TV screen becomes her lab for social change.
And as her story unfolds, these powerful themes really start to emerge. The most striking one, the one that really defines the book, has got to be feminism, right?
Yeah.
And the confrontation of those 1960s gender roles.
Oh, absolutely. It confronts the sexism in science and society head on. Elizabeth is portrayed as, well, a woman late years ahead of her time.
And her battle for equality is just depicted with this razor-sharp clarity. There's no pulling punches.
No. And what's equally compelling is how she uses her own expertise, her science, in that fight. That theme of science as empowerment is woven all the way through.
How so?
Well, chemistry isn't just her job. It functions as this metaphor for change, for control. She takes the domestic sphere, something often dismissed, and elevates it by explaining the science behind cooking.
Right, encouraging women to see the intelligence and purpose in, every action, every ingredient.
Exactly. And then there's another really rich layer, motherhood and identity.
Yeah, her journey as a single mother. That's central, isn't it? Her relationship with her daughter, Mad.
Incredibly central. And Mad isn't just a side character. She's portrayed as precocious, wise beyond her years.
And their parenting style is described as unconventional.
Very. It's driven by this raw honesty and mutual respect, which, for the time was quite radical, and it yields these surprisingly powerful results.
It's interesting how that theme connects back. It feels like she applies the same scientific rigor and logic to parenting, which again challenges the norms of the 60s.
Precisely. It's not just a subplot, it reinforces her entire approach to life. She challenges convention everywhere.
And speaking of challenging convention, or maybe just unexpected elements, the writing style itself. Bonnie Garmus's prose is described as clever, crisp, and bitingly funny.
It really is. She has such a unique narrative voice, and part of that uniqueness comes from, a pretty surprising inclusion.
The dog.
The dog, 630. He actually gets his own perspective in parts of the narrative.
Which sounds like it could be gimmicky, but the review suggests it really works.
It totally works. It had so much heart and honestly a lot of humor. It's just a really clever, unexpected narrative choice that somehow fits perfectly.
Okay, so digging a bit deeper into Elizabeth Zott herself, we found her described as fiercely intelligent, socially awkward, and stubbornly principled.
That sums her up pretty well. She embodies this quiet, almost unintentional, but unwavering defiance.
And her core desire seems so simple, yet so profound for the time.
She just wants to do science and be taken seriously for it. She's not trying to conform to society's expectations of what a woman should be or do.
She's not deliberately trying to make a statement, is she? She's just being herself.
Exactly. She's being her authentic, brilliant self. And it's that refusal to compromise who she is that makes her, as the review put it, one of the most compelling protagonists in recent fiction.
She doesn't bend. The world has to sort of bend around her.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Now, thinking about how the book is actually put together, the
Right.
writing style, the structure, that's key to its success, too.
Right. The review mentioned short, tight chapters.
Yeah, which keeps the pace really brisk. It just propels you through the story, without feeling rushed or superficial.
That cohesion is impressive, especially given the shifting perspectives you mentioned, including the dogs.
It is. The writing stays cohesive and emotionally resonant, according to the analysis. It feels both accessible, yet layered with nuance and subtle commentary.
What do you think makes it feel so accessible, even with the scientific and social commentary?
I think it's Garmus's skill at grounding even complex ideas in character and emotion. She doesn't shy away from the intellectual stuff, the chemistry, the feminism, but it's always rooted in Elizabeth's experience, her feelings. It makes the nuance feel approachable, not like overly academic or preachy.
Okay, but, for balance, even a book this loved usually has a few points of critique, however minor.
Sure, no book is perfect for everyone, and the review did acknowledge a couple of things.
Like the tone. It mentioned it can feel a bit uneven in parts.
Yeah, sort of alternating between that sharp satire and more straightforward emotional drama. Some readers might find that shift a little jarring at times.
Okay, and what about plot points?
There was a note that a few plot developments can feel slightly improbable or overly symbolic, maybe a little too convenient or on the nose sometimes.
Right, and the antagonists, the people opposing Elizabeth.
Sometimes drawn a bit too one-dimensionally. But interestingly, the review suggests this might actually be deliberate.
How so?
It suggests that maybe making the opposition almost caricatures enhances the novel's satirical edge. It highlights the absurdity of the sexism she faced. So maybe less a flaw, more a stylistic choice for satirical effect.
Got it. Makes sense. But ultimately, despite these minor nuances, the impact and reception of Lessons in Chemistry have been just huge.
Undeniable. It was an instant bestseller, huge word-of-mouth success.
And critically acclaimed, too, right? Praise for its originality, its message, that unforgettable main character, long listed for various literary prizes.
Definitely. And its reach goes beyond the page now. It's been adapted into an Apple TV Plus series starring Brie Larson.
Which seems like a perfect fit, actually.
Yeah, it really shows how much the story has captured the public imagination, moving so successfully from book to screen.
So boiling it all down, what does this all mean for you, the listener? What's the core takeaway?
Well, I think Lessons in Chemistry is just this bold, funny, and fiercely intelligent novel, and its message resonates way beyond the 1960s setting.
It feels very relevant now.
Absolutely. It's a powerful reminder that, knowledge is power, that standing out, being different isn't a flaw, and that challenging the status quo, even in small, incremental ways, can be truly revolutionary.
It really makes you think about societal norms and just personal courage.
Definitely. So if you enjoy strong female leads, if you like historical fiction that feels really modern and relevant.
Or even if you're just a fan of shows like, say, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or Hidden Figures.
Yeah, those are good comparisons. This book is probably right up your alley, and we saw it mentioned everywhere how much it sparks discussion. Perfect for book clubs.
Absolutely. It gives you a lot to talk about.
So maybe here's a final thought to leave you with as you go about your day. Consider how seemingly small everyday acts. Maybe acts of defiance, maybe acts of education, kind of like Elizabeth Zott's cooking show. How those small things can actually initiate really profound shifts. Shifts in perception, shifts in societal norms.
How much you apply that chemistry of change, so to speak, in your own sphere, even if it feels small.
Yeah, something to think about.